Yo, welcome back to Herbistry420. And today we are actually making a craft, right? I'm painting this vase you see right here. Beautiful. Started off as a terracotta vase, huh? And I thought, why not include some arts and crafts on the channel? Why not? Usually when I blaze, I end up doing something creative, although sometimes it's just watching TV, etc. So in the beginning, I took this terracotta pot, I brought it outside, put some cardboard down, and I used some black spray paint. Black spray paint will adhere to terracotta no problem. However, I may have done this differently if I did it again, this particular design, this particular style. Right now, I'm putting on this painter's tape. This is not the good stuff, it's not the blue tape. Blue tape works way better, but I have a bunch of this and I was trying to get rid of it, so I use that instead of the blue tape. And my idea here is I'm gonna have a black background with some green stuff, but it ends up being a green-black background with some black stuff, and yeah. The green right here is a fluorescent color, so it's going to look pretty cool in the black light. And as I'm doing this, of course, I don't have any patience. I start taking the tape off and realize I probably could have left it out, but outside is cold, yo. So I said, you know what, let's get that tape off. And then once I take it off, if it's dry enough, I can bring it upstairs, right? And I noticed little spots that I'm gonna have to retouch because as I pull the tape off, maybe it picks up some of the spray paint, etc. The longer it dries, the better. And what I'm doing here is I brought a can of varnish and a thing of resin just to hold it in place and realize that actually wasn't necessarily helping. So I end up moving it out of the way. I took some fluorescent green right here, and what I did is I just mixed some water in the paint bottle. Instead of making a separate squeeze bottle, I'm using the actual paint bottle. And what I'm doing is I'm making these squiggly lines inside the green and also outlining the already fluorescent green. So just providing some interest. Now, probably what I should have done is I actually did this after I did the next step. But you know, hindsight is 20/20. Because what I'm gonna do inside the black is actually add some glue, and then with that glue, I'm using that tack it glue, right? So you can put stuff over and over. But my decision or my idea is to use black glitter in the black parts of this design. So fluorescent green, black glitter, it will look cool. Basically, when light hits it, when black light hits it, etc. Right? And you'll notice here, I did it in several passes, right? Because I needed it to dry, and it took quite a while to dry in this thick, squeezed on paint right here. You'll notice the music playing in the background is from my buddy, Dan McKie. Go check out his label. It will be left in the description. Thanks a lot for letting us use this track, brother. And yeah, so still squeezing on green paint here, and this is quite a process. You'll notice on the bottom, and this is here, adding the glue. And basically, when you add this, you wait about 30 minutes. You don't want to put too thick of a coat on, but after 30 minutes, it dries clear. And then what I can do is sprinkle glitter on top of this, and it will stick to it, right? Now, technically, this glue is like a reusable. Like, so if you put this on something, you could stick something to it, remove it, stick something, etc. But with the glitter, the idea is once we put it on, we're not going to remove it. We're going to hit it with varnish to pretty much secure it in place, right? And again, just like the green, I did this in portions, right? Instead of doing the whole thing, because there was no easy way to paint it on without either getting it on the floor or getting it on myself, etc. So in portions. You can see right there, right now I'm pouring the black glitter on. I have this little piece of paper, and it's meant to collect the extra. And by collecting the extra, I can then, instead of throwing it away and wasting, of course, glitter is not great for the environment, so you definitely don't want to waste any. And yeah, I reuse it. I pour it back in the cup, and I reapply. So this is definitely not a difficult process. It only takes patience, time, etc. Right here, I took a Q-tip, because after I added the glitter, I noticed that on some of the green parts, even though the paint was dry, it was sticking. So I wet the Q-tip, I wiped it around, trying to remove some of that glitter that went into the green areas, right? There's still a little bit, and that's okay, you know? And that's the part that I was saying that I would redo or do over, is I would just change it. So I did the black and the glitter first and the green second, because then I could have technically painted over all of the green using the acrylic paint. And yeah. By the way, in between the spray paint and adding acrylic paint, I added clear gesso. Clear gesso is going to allow acrylic paint to be applied to spray paint, because acrylic paint and spray paint don't mix, right? Now, by adding that clear gesso allowed me to add acrylic paint over. It gives it some tooth, some bite for it to be applied to the surface, right? Here, again, adding some more glitter, finding the different spots, and seeing what I need to re-go over, right? I've got a vacuum there to clean up, and yeah, repetitive. But I really like the way this thing came out, huh? The way the blacklight hits it is pretty cool, although of course you do not need blacklight to use fluorescent paint, etc. It looks cool without blacklight. And here, going another process, I think this is the last phase of adding glue. And after adding that glue, boom, we are going to add the glitter and we'll be in the home stretch, baby. I wasn't sure how I was going to finish this off, varnish, or if I was going to use some kind of lacquer or etc. But I ended up going with a spray varnish first, right? And you'll see towards the end here, I ended up taking the piece outside and spraying it with some acrylic clear varnish. What you won't see is after I spray it with that acrylic clear varnish is I bring it inside and I paint on some paintable varnish, right? Because once we did the spray, it kept all the glitter in place, it kept everything in place. You'll notice I'm coming back over with the green and re-going over things that I thought needed a little oomph, a little extra, because it seemed like certain parts had too much of the black glitter, maybe interrupted the flow or etc. Here you can see I paint a little bit black in the lip to make it a little bit shiny, spraying it with that acrylic varnish. Bada bing, bada boom. You missed the part where I paint on the varnish for 2 extra layers inside, but here's the final product. Guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. You know the deal, baby. Till next time, I'm out.